April Armstrong. She's a musician, storyteller, theater artist, high-energy electric performer. So, here we go. April Armstrong.
Kids are a trip, right? Last week, my daughter went out of the house early in the morning and did not come home until 9 p.m. 9 o'clock at night. I mean, she's 4 years old. I said, "Where have you been? And don't you tell me a story." I love my child, but she's a bit of an adventurer. She is a whirlwind. If there's a closed drawer, she's gonna open it. If there's a closed door, she's gonna go inside. You know the kind of child? And if anything happens, she's like, "Oh, did I do that?" You know, I try to teach her some responsibility, but I want her to be happy. And so when she asked me for a cat, I got her a cat. And when she asked me for a puppy, I got her another cat, because I'm not going to be walking that dog out in the winter. And then when she asked me for a goldfish, her mama got her a goldfish. Of course, that didn't go over too well with those two hungry cats, and so now we have no goldfish and a very large tank, but it's okay, because she is practicing her deep diving breath control. She's up to 5 minutes already. She's a natural athlete. But you know, it's so funny about her. She just wants the best of everything. I guess she takes after her mom in that way. And she won't take no for an answer. She's just constantly wanting different things. I mean, it is like me, because I've got all these creditors calling me on my phone. But I don't let her see screens, because screens take away a child's attention span. I mean, it really damages their focus. You know, just the other day, she was driving the SUV, and I said to her, "Hey, you just went through a stop sign. Be careful." And she said, "I was looking at the ceiling and got into my feelings." I said, "Pay attention." But these kids, they grow up so fast. I mean, I had to buy her another pair of shoes just the other day. She's up to a size 14 already. I mean, from the waist up, she sure is sweet, but down there, she is just too much feet. I mean, Lord love her, but her feet's too big. Anyway, so she told me that last week she went to see her Nana. Now, Grandma only lives a hop, skip, and a jump from our house. I mean, just over the meadow and through the woods. But she said she went on a different way. She went off the path. And I said, "Well, there's the first mistake right there. I've always told her, stay on the path." Well, she decided she wanted to pick some flowers for her Nana. And I don't understand why she did that, because she knows her grandma is allergic to flowers. I mean, the last time anybody bought Grandma a bouquet of flowers, she blew up like the Kool-Aid pitcher and went right through a wall. And I'm still paying for those repairs today. Tell you, the creditors. Anyway, she was picking these flowers. And then she said she got hungry, and she spied these mushrooms. Now, I've told her not to eat wild plants, but did she listen? No. And she went right over there and picked those mushrooms and ate them, and she took one bite. And then she was off to another world, because these were not regular mushrooms. They were the magic kind, the psilocybin mushrooms. These are not mushrooms you put on your pizza, you know. So she's off to another world. She's seeing all these bright colors, and she spies a blue door. She goes to the door, and of course, she tries to get in, no invitation, but the door is locked. So she starts to burrow underneath with those big feet, and so she finally gets underneath the door, and when she's inside, she's in a house, and she sees these 3 bowls of food, and it's smelling so good to her. And she tried each one, but then she settled on the smallest one because she's not that greedy a person. I've taught her something because it tasted so good, but then she was still kind of hungry, So she went over to the bowl where she saw some fruit because it was a heart-healthy kitchen. So she went over, she got a piece of fruit, and she got an apple. And she took one bite, and she started to feel so sleepy. And so she looked for a place where she could lie down, and she figured she saw some stairs. And so she climbed a stairway to heaven. These are her words now. These are her words. And she got upstairs, and she found a bedroom, and there were like these 3 beds. She tried the sattva. She tried the serta, and then she settled on the helix because it was just right. Well, anyway, she lied down and she started to dream. And in her dream, she saw these 3 people that sort of looked like bears, but it was really ZZ Top. It was the guys from ZZ Top. And, they were singing, they were trying to make her get up and boogie, but she wasn't having it. She wasn't having it because not everybody crazy about a sharp-dressed man. And she woke herself up and she tried the door, but the door was stuck. And then she went to the window. She thought she's gonna jump out the window. And then she realized she was up 2 stories and she didn't know what to do. She kept shaking her head from right to left. And she realized that just the other week we had put a weave in her hair. So she took the weave out of her hair and then she braided it up. And then she took the weave, she threw it out the window onto the tree, and it lassoed around the tree. And then she jumped out the window, holding on to the braid, except she wasn't quite at the bottom. And so then she did a cartwheel and round off, and then she got to the ground and she ran all the way home. And I was so relieved until I got a phone call from the police station. They told me that she had broken into a house of bears. The bears lived there. And I don't mean just any bears. I mean the bears, the Chicago bears, the bears. And I thought, well, how did this child get to Lake Forest to begin with? Next thing you know, she is going to be telling me that a wolf ate her grandma. What will these kids think of next? An old wise man, lived on the edge of town. His body was feeble, but his mind was sound. A young, smart boy who was a bit of a pest thought he'd put the old man to the test. So the young, fast boy caught a small, young bird and blocked its beak so its song could not be heard. And then he put that bird behind his back, and he went to see the man in the old gray shack. In your hands, in your hands, in your hands, in your hands. And any question that you demand, the answer's right in your hands. The boy called out, "I've got a riddle for you. Let's see if you can tell what's false or true," said the young mean boy with a trickster's heart. "If your answers ain't right, then you ain't that smart. What am I holding behind my back?" The man could tell the boy was on the attack. But then the man heard a rustling sound and saw a tiny feather float to the ground. "You got a bird," the old man cried. He could see the mischief in the young boy's eyes. Suddenly, the boy got it in his head to do the opposite of what the old man said. If the man said the bird was dead, he would let the bird go, just to wreck his cred. But if the man said the bird was alive and strong, he'd crush the bird, just to prove him wrong. With a gleam in his eye, the young boy said, "Is this bird alive, or is it dead?" The old man could see the danger in the young boy's eyes, and he wisely said, to the boy's surprise, "In your hands, in your hands, in your hands, in your hands." Any answer that you demand, any question that you demand, the answer's right in your hands. Confusion and anger flashed across the young boy's face. He thought he'd brought the goods to make his case. But then his heart heard the old man's words, and he brought his hands out that held the captive bird. Shakespeare says, "The quality of mercy is not strained. It falls from the heavens. It drops like rain." If this old man could be wise, then maybe he could try. And so he opened his hand and let the bird fly. In your hands, in your hands, in your hands, in your hands. Any question that you demand, the answer's right in your hands. This story is about a young boy, but it could be about me or you. Sometimes it's hard to know just what to do. With so many things today pulling us further apart, we can still listen to the power of our collective heart and know that the answer is in our hands. In our hands. In our hands. In our hands. Any question that you demand, the answer's right in your hands. Thank you.